Happy Chalky Final Four. You could do auto bracket. Whoever did auto bracket this year did phenomenal. They're in it.
I did the reverse. There's no way 4 ones are going to go. There's got to be at least one or two Cinderellas.
Only the second time ever.
Yeah.
This is the norm. I think ones will continue to be ones, and everyone else will continue to be everyone else.
Actually, I'll argue the other side of it. I don't think it's the norm. I think everyone has to adjust. And I read this, I can't take credit for it, but the mid majors are going to go to probably Division II players.
Yeah.
Right? Because there's Division II players that for some reason develop late or they got missed the mark. So everyone's got to adjust.
JUCO players are going to be the new, diamond in the rough. You're going to have guys driving all over the country just to find one great kid at JUCO. Maybe we should go back to JUCO. You still have eligibility?
I mean, apparently these new rules. I got some stats for you.
Go ahead.
2008, 120. 2008, 120. In 2008, you called it, was the last time all 4 1 seeds went to the Final Four. It was UCLA, it was Carolina, it was Memphis, and it was Kansas. That's when Kansas beat Memphis in that overtime game. And there were 20 pros out of that Final Four. This year, we have 4 1s. How many pros do you think there are?
Ooh.
That might be tough because I sprung this on you. You could just say over under 15 pros.
What did you say? Like at one point, you said that you got to have 3 really
I said
good
3
players.
pros.
3 pros. You did say 3 pros.
Yeah.
So let's go with that K-win criteria and say at a minimum we're going to have 12.
Okay.
And then there's always guys that they might flash during the championship game. There's people like, oh, they're worth a second round flyer. So let's go 13.
Wow. So I did the math. I said 13 on the low side, 15 on the high side.
Okay.
So Auburn, I think they get 2. I think they get Broome and Pettifor. Florida, they could get between 4 or 5. They've got Clayton, Hawk, Condon, maybe Elijah Martin, maybe Aberdeen. Duke is 5 or 6. Harding 6 plus Caleb Foster. Houston, I haven't seen enough of them. I'm saying maybe 2. So if it's 13 or 15, it's still not 20 from 2008 when that was Love, Russ, Carlson, D. Rose, Super Mario Chalmers. That's how good the 2008 Final Four was. And I think this is how good this year's could potentially be with top-heavy teams, number 1 seeds, and we have star power. The 2 best players in college basketball, Broome and Flagg. I can't wait.
I agree. And now, are you saying that even out years? So it's not as though all those 20 were next year's draft, but rather
Correct.
On those 4 teams produced at some point for 20. Okay, yeah. Okay, 15, and you never know. Like I said, there could be some guy on the bench redshirting. Just all it takes is like 3 good games, or 2, or even 1 good game in the NCAA tournament, and the NBA team could pick you up on a win.
Yeah. I'm just saying Cinderella is redshirting. She's not dead. She will come back. We talked about NIL ruining the mid-major. For all those schools that go out there and pay for players and they get to the Elite 8 or the Sweet 16 like Miami did in the Final Four, there's teams that pay for players and don't do anything. Look at Indiana. They didn't even make the tournament. There's also bad business decisions related to NIL. That's why I can't say the dominant schools will always be good. They're going to pay the wrong players.
That's Miles Rice. I think he played at WSU the year prior. They gave him a decent chunk of change. He didn't really pan out there. I think you're right. I think it comes down to coaching. Look at the coaches that are in this Final Four. Each of them are pretty. Most would say really good coaches.
Great
coaches, right?
They all have a potential to win their first title. That's what I love about it.
And you have John Shire he's like a robot. I mean, he takes a lot from Coach K, right? Don't say anything too outlandish. Don't say anything diminutive. Just stay in the middle. Where I'm going with this is you have to have a good coach to weave these players together.
Yeah.
If you can't get buy-in, God, at Indiana, they were asking for his head halfway through the season, even though they were 2 games above 500. I mean,
know.
expectations of certain schools, like just because you spend the money, like you're saying, doesn't mean you're going to hit. UW spent $2 million on great Osabor,
That's right.
and they were last in the Big Ten. Like just because you buy a player doesn't mean he's going to turn out great. No pun intended.
But you know what? This podcast is going to turn out
It
great.
is.
Hello and welcome to Big Ben and K-Win. Each week we broadcast live on YouTube. If you're watching this live right now, drop your comments below. If you're watching it later, also drop your comments below. More of an audio podcast. Download, listen, subscribe, 5 stars, anywhere you get your podcast. Today, we're going to talk about the Final Four. We're going to talk about those torpedo bats and much, much more. I'm K-Win. He's Big Ben. Let's go.
Houston. Kevin Sampson used to be Coop. That inbounds play was probably the best inbounds play I've seen.
Yeah, it was great.
Ever. When it occurred, the necessity for it, meaning the outcome was determined by the end. And just like who does that? Like the quick little jump in, executed perfectly.
You know what I loved about it is because every play should have multiple options and a counter to a counter. And your players have to know those counters. And so if you watch the tape, Braden Smith goes, and then they know that the other guy's going to be open, and that guy knows the guy who threw the ball in is going to be open, and it worked perfectly. They are a great coach team.
They are. And you always forget about the inbounder. Like as a defender, you always do. Like that's the last person you're thinking about. But where I was going with that lead in is Sampson and Shire. It's going to be a chess match. We're going to see more substitutions in that game than I think. There's going to be slow the game down, speed the game up. I'm excited. And then Bruce Pearl and who Florida.
Todd Golden.
Don't talk about Todd. Let's stick with
all good things about Todd.
But
go back to Houston and Duke. So Duke has scored 80 points per game each game in the NCAA tournament. Their average win margin, I think, in the tournament or the last 10 game is 20 points. They're blowing out teams. They've got 6 pros. They've got an NBA-style lineup. I was watching a podcast, and they said it, and it resonated. Like, think of, like, what the Warriors lineup of death created. You know, we're going to have 6'5" and taller guys who can just switch out and defend. They're long and they're athletic. The Rockets did it. They didn't make it as far. OKC's kind of like that. That's what Duke has.
Yeah.
They can guard. All their players guard. There's a system. There's an identity. And I was down on Con Knippel. I don't know why. I think it's because you have to hate a Duke player, but I don't really hate him. He's actually really good. Not only can he shoot, he plays defense. He also rebounds. He knows how to make the right play at the right time. Duke's got to be the favorite.
I agree with you. If Knippel was on a different team, would he look more like Dalton Neck or Connect?
Probably.
Right?
Yeah.
He's overshadowed. What if he becomes a better pro than Flag? Is that feasible? Possible?
It is if Cooper goes to Washington.
You get the feeling every year, like every, I don't know, 5-7 years, it's Duke's year. This just feels like Duke's year. Mm-hmm. Shire's, he probably retained so much from Coach K. Was there someone better to learn under?
Well, the best.
And then Proctor's great.
Yeah.
Houston you haven't heard much from Houston though. They've kind of just done their thing this tournament, other than avoiding upsets. But I want to talk about the other game because I think
you're picking Duke to win.
I'm picking Duke. I think it's too much firepower. You're right. As long as I just think Shire has too many pieces to screw up. You know what I'm saying? Like it's not like he has 1 or 2 players. He's got so many. You just can't screw it up.
I agree. Houston has the defense to make this close and interesting, but they don't have the offense. And Duke does have the defense. So if you think of Houston, they couldn't score the last couple of years. That's why they're out of the tournament. This is just not a good matchup against Duke. So I've got Duke as well.
The only thing I could see is Houston getting physical and muddy up the game. Pearl versus Golden.
Golden worked for Pearl.
Really?
Yeah.
I could see that.
Early on, Auburn.
I could see that.
I don't remember.
similar accusations, maybe, I think, on those wins. Florida comeback. God, everyone was biting towels watching that Florida game.
It was an amazing game.
It was. I don't. Auburn is just. What'd you say going in this? Do we have the intern run the algorithm on kind of average age amongst the entire
I
team?
mean, I think it's close to 22.
Right. I
Yeah.
think so. I think your algorithm hit. Those with the oldest players are generally the best players because they've had them long. And now we see these two teams going against each other. I think there's some big name transfers. The one, can I say this? The one player I know I'm gonna miss in the Final Four is Richardson from Michigan State.
Jace?
Jace. I wish he could just, after you lose, you get to pick one player to take on your team.
Yeah.
Moving forward. Nonetheless, who do you have? Auburn, Florida.
I've been Gators from the start. I'm Gators at the end. They had those tough games where they didn't really look good in the first half and even down the stretch against UConn, against Texas Tech. Some say they could have lost both of those games, but they didn't. Made them stronger. I think this is Florida's great game. They know their opponent. They know what to do. There's no more pressure about getting to the Final Four. I think Florida gets out to a faster start, and Walter Clayton Jr., call him Walter Clayton Dagger. I mean, big shot taker, big shot maker. I think the bigs are going to play well. Condon really hasn't played that well. You got Elijah Martin. Florida's the one team that gets better when they bring in their bench players. They have a deep bench. They can go different systems, different styles. I think they do it. Go Gators.
Who's my guy with the mohawk on Florida? Because they got two 7-footers, right?
Hauk or Hauk.
Hauk, yeah. They got two 7-footers. They're kind of like Michigan Light in that respect. But you're right. Listen, everyone, we want a Cinderella, but we're going to get two really good games, and they're going to be close. I think I'd love to see what the spread is, but I don't think anyone's getting more than 4.5 probably.
So are you going Gators too?
I would love to see a Duke Auburn game. I don't know why.
Pick it.
Yeah, Duke Auburn. Hey, I want to.
Who wins Natty?
Bruce Furrow versus John Shire. I don't know. Maybe Bruce sends a couple people up to John. I don't know.
You said Auburn a couple weeks ago. You back?
I did. I like Auburn. I'll just say Auburn. They're the oldest team. They got guys don't have one more year, right? They're going to play for everything. They're going to go all out. They're going to pull. They're going to cheat probably. I don't know. I like Auburn. I want to offer you this before we wrap up.
Well, we're not wrapping up. We got 13 minutes. I got Duke, and I got Duke back to back this year and next year. The Duke Dynasty's back. They win this year. They reload next year.
Go make that bet then. That's a teaser. Yeah. This year, next year, they probably already have the NCAA that you can bet on. Do it. Okay. Get it on your phone. You can bet in California. Come on, right now.
I will. I gotta wait for your bid.
I will. Don't pressure me. All right, give me. Let me swing a theory past you. Not necessarily a theory.
Are we transitioning to baseball?
No. We're staying here with basketball. A theoretical bat theory. I don't know if I have a bat theory, but I do have this. Think about where these teams are from.
Okay,
regionally in the U.S. Yes. Duke, over in South, Mid-Atlantic, what some might say. Florida, South.
Dirty South.
Auburn, clean South? Is that what you're calling it?
No, dirty.
And then you have Houston.
Wow, that's the South too.
Dirty?
Yeah.
Okay. My point being, West Coast. Is this... So give me an argument let me make an argument that we will not see any other team outside of Arizona, UCLA, or Gonzaga in the Final Four in the next decade on the West Coast.
No. UCLA will get a different coach, and they'll be back.
I like Cronin.
Nah.
You just me straight. No, but go
Cronin
back.
coaches like it's He's got West Virginia 3-star athletes. I don't want to see that. I want to see people run up and down. I
All
want
right,
to see 5 stars. I want to see the glitz and glamour
he
of
already got the
Hollywood. I
top
want to see
recruit out of the portal
personalities. There's
today.
no personalities.
Hold on. You're missing the point. My point is, those are the only three programs on the West Coast that are going to be able to, I think the collective, I don't know what Gonzaga's collective is, but UCLA and Arizona are going to have a collective. They've won a national title. They're going to have a collective go out and play. Those are the only three programs on the West Coast. Maybe I should add in there Oregon. Add Oregon.
Okay,
That are going to
4.
have, we're going to see, are going to be relevant in the NCAA tournament for the next decade. Only 4.
Am I saying Final Four or relevant in the NCAA tournament?
You're only relevant if you're in the Final Four, right? Is that fair?
It's
Like,
fair.
everyone forgets everyone that's lost up until this point. You remember the Final Four.
So I will say,
And if
I'll
not, can
say
you?
Oregon absolutely because they have the brand, they have the collective. Dana Altman's a great coach. He's getting older. When they replace him, they're going to make a big, big splash. So
Okay.
Oregon 100% will be in the Final Four. Write it down, put it on your wall within the next 10 years. Maybe 2 Final Fours from Oregon.
That's pretty bold there. 10 years. Come on. All right. That's fine.
UCLA, they got to make a change. Arizona, I mean, Tommy Lloyd can recruit. I don't know if he can coach. Bruins, yes, Bruins will make 1. Ducks make 2. Bruins make 1 Final Four in the next 10 years. Gonzaga makes a tournament, but there are no Final Fours in the next 10 years because Mark Few is retiring. They're going to bring someone in. The program's going to take a dip. NIL is going to hit them in the gut. And
Okay.
Gonzaga program is going to drop back down to earth.
Could we see like a St. Mary's or Santa Clara?
To the Final Four? Hell no.
Okay.
I mean,
No
let's just
glimmer?
be real. Sweet 16, maybe.
No glimmer?
Final Four, no chance.
I remember Loyola Marymount made the Final Four.
Bo Kemble, right?
Bo
Hank
Kimball back in
Gathers.
like shooting threes. They were both 6'7". No one ever
Yeah,
seen that before.
I know. Unbelievable.
Maybe we see that again. A couple JUCO transfers, all you need.
That's all you need.
Torpedo bats.
All right, let's go. Big Ben.
Yes, K1.
I did some statistical analysis here. The U.S. Navy uses intercepts and nets to protect themselves against torpedoes.
Okay.
What are opposing pitchers going to do to protect themselves against the New York Yankees torpedo bats?
High and tight.
Wow.
You come in with a torpedo bat, we're going at your head.
Okay.
Put it down. Go pick up a normal bat. Are we making too much of it? Who is pitching? See, no one ever said who was pitching. Like, were
It's
they?
like you stole my notes.
Who? You always like. There's both sides of the argument. Like, oh man, they're cheating. It's like, no, like the pitcher stunk and he gave up the most home runs in the in the major leagues last year. Both things can be right.
Nestor Cortez was a pitcher
Oh,
who
geez.
let up 9 home runs on that fateful Saturday. Last year, he gave up 24 home runs.
How many innings?
I don't know. I don't have that stat.
Is that good or bad?
Yeah, he was ranked 24th. So
Still up
the
there.
pitcher who let up the most was 34
What was the weather like?
last week in New York.
Yeah.
Moderate.
What does that
But
mean?
here's the thing. He's
No,
a
no,
fly
no, no,
ball
no, no.
pitcher, right?
Oh, okay.
And so
Jet stream?
early in spring training, you're working the kinks out. Those fly balls are home runs.
You're not quite. You're buzzing 92 in the upper strike zone. Those are gone.
But I think this is a media overreaction. We're paying attention to the wrong thing.
We are.
It was bad pitching, not the torpedo bats.
Right.
If we
I
looked
agree.
last night, KC put up 11 on the Brewers, 2 home runs. Look at these stats. The Brewers have been outscored 47-15 in the first 4 games. It's a pitching thing. These pitchers don't have the velocity. They're not executing. I'm not saying there's always going to be like that for the Brewers. I'm just saying they had a very bad series in New York and a very bad game against Kansas City. And the torpedo bats are good, but they're not the difference in this situation.
No. Yeah, like it has to be the bats, right? The Yankees are cheating. It's like, no, everyone can use these bats. Not a big deal, right?
Illegal.
This is an anomaly. But everyone then likes to go look at recency bias. Oh yeah, this guy used a torpedo bat. He never hit any home runs, and he hit 2 home runs today. It must be the bat. It's like, oh geez, yeah, you're right. Let's see what they do.
Yeah.
Someone, but I do. You do have this. Remember, you played.
Yeah.
Remember, you get a new bat. Ooh. Remember the feeling you had?
Yeah.
Just, you'd rip off the grip, maybe, and wrap it in your own thing. You do the X, and you just dig in. And God, you had more. Like you had Riz, you had just the confidence going up there. Someone could have thrown you anything. You're going to close your eyes and swing just to see what the bat was going to do.
Mm-hmm.
Probably the same way with the Yankees. God, I get it new. This is new. It's destined. It's the new thing, right? You're going to hit home runs. Some guy probably imported him. This is probably just like, hey, the team's not getting off to a hot start. How do we introduce some new bats? Are they any better than the other bats? No, but they'll think they are. You go up there with more confidence, swing, and boom. It was probably Costanza.
Well, there was an analytical study by the Yankees front office where their shortstop, Anthony Volpe, wasn't hitting the ball in the sweet spot. So what these bats do is it extends the sweet spot. So like there's parts of the bat that's not used, the like edge of the bat. So they kind of like thicken the sweet spot. But you still have to hit the ball.
Exactly.
It's curving, it's dipping, it's cutting, it's changing. You have to hit the ball. But here's my next point, why this is overreaction. It's Yankee Stadium. It's not the bats. I did some research with AI, and I think you'll like this research. So we analyzed home runs New York Stadium from 2022 to 2024. And here's what it had to say. Over a 3-year period, the total home runs hit at Yankee Stadium consistently was at the top of the league rankings. These stats underscore the significant impact of Yankee Stadium's characteristics to home run production.
So what you're saying, we had a fly ball pitcher, new bats that just get you a little confidence going. You're just tapping them, ready to go, ripping and raring. And then you had a stadium susceptible to home runs.
Correct. So in 2024, last season, the Dodgers led all of baseball with 130 home runs. Yankees were second with 119. If we go back 22, 23, 24, look at the stadium. At Yankee Stadium, it's the third most home runs. It's averaging like 117 homers a game. It's got a short porch. It's a great hitter's park. And when they're pitchers that aren't executing, you can put it on the board.
This is the result, right? Yeah, it's like kind of one of the sweet spots what can spread out. You just throw one out there, good angle, good spin rate, boom, it's out. It's just flying.
God, and here's the other thing. Aaron Judge, the home run king, he doesn't use a torpedo bat. And so he hit 4 home runs over the series. He leads the league in RBIs. So it's a little skewed, right? You've got a ballpark where there's a lot of home runs, and you probably have the best home run hitting slugger on your team. Both things lead to home runs. Listen, you give me a torpedo bat, I probably can't even hit it out of the infield.
You've talked about that. You've said, like, let's go do some kind of experiential podcast. Let's go get a torpedo bat. Let's go get a C-Core, Easton C-Core. Let's get a fungo. We'll do a bat results test. See what one flies. Here's my next thing. I'm wondering if any Mariners are going to take this. Like, is this going to work? If a torpedo bat works in T-Mobile, something's up. Those T-Mobile, like, it's a torpedo.
What is it going to cut through the fog?
Yeah, exactly. Lower marine layer. I have no idea. You're right. People made too much of this.
If this was the Pirates using torpedo bats, we wouldn't even be talking about it.
No, we wouldn't.
Absolutely. And there's other people using it too. Like there's guys on the Blue Jays, I think the Braves. Like the Yankees aren't the only team using the bats. And here's the other thing. Major League Baseball has to approve all the bats.
Yeah.
So they're not cheating. They're just using something different. So tip of that cap to the Yankees. They're doing something different and innovative that we're talking about. But you know what? It comes down to pitching and defense. And if the Yankees can't figure that out, they're going to hit home runs. Why are we talking
about the Yankees?
That's it.
Why are we talking about the Yankees?
Because
Let's talk about your Giants. Let's talk about my Mariners.
Giants doing well. Pod's doing well too.
On
Dodgers
4-0.
doing great.
Swept Atlanta too. That wasn't like a kind of a layup series at all.
Yeah.
Padres look really good. Jackson
Yeah.
Merrill. You should wear. I got my Padres hat.
Yeah, you should wear it.
You need to. Are we getting?
Here's
out
my
of here?
bold prediction.
Gosh.
I guess it's the Sacramento A's, right? The
Right.
Sacramento A's will make the playoffs and have the Rookie of the Year, Jack Wilson, shortstop of the Pirates, his son.
Yes.
A's are back. They made signings. They got pitching. They don't have to worry about the pressure of the stadium. The A's will be a wild card team, Big Ben. What do you think about that?
Listen. They went 2-2 against the Mariners. They didn't even have to pull their closer. Now they should have. I think that last game where Julio hit a home run and we ended up winning the game. But who's the lefty? Sodergaard? No, that's the old dude that used to wear X-Specs. Anyway, they gotta. I agree with you. I agree. I mean, they're low profile, low key, good. Rooker's good.
Yeah, they got Severino. They got my boy Jacob Wilson, Rookie of the Year. That's my prediction.
Bold prediction. And no one will watch it. Do they have broadcast? Can you actually see the game if they play in Sacramento?
Yeah.
Can you? Like, do they have a broadcast going, or is it like
Well,
someone has to?
not
You
up there
have to go on
anymore. I
live
think it's
YouTube.
Comcast Bay Area. They show the Giants and the A's.
Wow, cool.
Sacramento's
stadium
part of the
look
Bay Area.
You've always told me Sacramento's not even close to part of the Bay Area.
I know, but for TV rights, we claim them. How are your Mariners looking? How are you feeling?
Horrible.
Wow.
They're rolling out the same stuff. The same.
Let me guess. I haven't seen any Mariners game. Great pitching, no offense.
Oh my gosh! Do you remember Daniel Vogelbach? Like he always gave us hope. Like one year he had 30 jacks. We're like, oh man, this is awesome. Now we got some guy that looks exactly the same. He's just a bit taller at first, and he just rolls over on every ball, hits to the second base, trots out there, and then every sixth at bat, he hits a home run maybe. I've been watching the Mariners. It's the same narrative. It's the same. You see the same thing, and it's just Julio struck out the other night, runner in scoring position to potentially go ahead run.
Yeah.
Just waved at it, walked away. So they're going to be a sub 500 team.
Wow. Where do they finish in the AL West?
Third.
So you got Rangers first, my A's second, Mariners third.
Sure.
Astros fourth.
Yeah, because here's the thing. The pitching was all healthy last year. You got the best out of the pitching you could possibly get. Everyone was healthy. And you eked out, what, 540 win percentage? Like, that's not going to happen. Someone's going to get hurt. Someone already has gotten hurt. And the hitting stinks. It stinks.
Get him some torpedo bats.
It stinks. The hitting, God, I don't. It is, Mariners score more runs on fielder's choice groundouts or pass balls.
That's a productive out.
No, come on. It's just so pathetic. Clutch hitting is, and that's what you watch the game, you're like, all right, bring us hope. Just clutch up and get a rip here. No.
Yeah.
Bases loaded, roll over to second base and double play. Yeah, we got to run. It's pathetic.
Listen, you've played baseball. I've played baseball. We've played softball. You're on those teams when you're like, I mean, we got to get to 2 runs if we're going to win and hold it. Like, that's what the Mariners, they're like, we got to get to 2 runs. Pitching has to be perfect. Weather has to be nice. We got to play sharp defense. There's too many things that have to go right for the Mariners to win.
When you don't have offense and you're a pitcher, the psyche is shit. I have to be perfect, right? And you've had that before where you're like, fuck, man, we just don't got it. Good at ace. I got to be perfect. And when you're not perfect, when you give up 2 runs, you're kicking, on any other team, you're probably like, all right, back me up.
Yeah.
With Mariners, you got no confidence. Statistically, that we're probably not going to score 3 runs. And that's really hard on your psyche, right? If you're out there pitching, like, I have to be perfect spot. I watched Bryce Miller give up a walk the other day. He was like, just live it, because he knows he can't be anything but perfect.
It goes the other way too. Like the offensive players, the hitters, when they know that Bryce Miller isn't perfect and giving up runs, they're like, oh, well, I got to do more.
Yeah.
And
And you can't
it's
do more.
just,
They're not capable of doing more. That's the thing. They're not capable of doing any more than what they've done because nothing has changed, right? If you bring in a big bag, here's the last thing I'll say on the Mariners. I think what Justin Turner said was right. That organization, why wouldn't you bring in a high profile bat considering that, here's what a big bat does for you. It protects other players. And right now, Julio Rodriguez is the player. He's not protected by anyone else. Cal Raleigh maybe you might argue that Cal Raleigh's protecting him, but he's not. If you had a big bat that another pitcher had to think about, the ripple effect across the entire lineup is massive.
well, and as all the pressure is on the pitching, all of the hitting offensive production pressure is on Julio.
Exactly.
If you're the
And he's
opposing
not
team, you're just like, I'm going to pitch around him.
and he's not mature enough yet to realize that, right? He's still up there fanning like, no, dude, you got to grip down. Let's go. He doesn't get it. And the Mariners don't get it. They don't. They don't understand that. You bring in a big bat, no one's scared of this.
But no big bats want to go there.
No, you don't. It's like the opposite course fear. It's what do they call it when you can't? The freezer? No, the cooler. Whatever. The guy that walks around sits down at the table. No one ends up winning. You go to Seattle. Yeah, you go to Seattle. Done. You look at Sexton's career, Beltre's career. The dip is always in Seattle.
But isn't this up to the baseball operations team to put together a team fit for that climate and ballpark? And what I mean by that is it's got to be consistent hitters that hit for average, gap to gap, doubles, and people who can steal bases, people who don't strike out. They've got to figure that out because the home run hitters aren't going to come in free agency. They may be able to draft someone and raise them up through the minor leagues, but you need singles and doubles hitters, right?
Kyle, there are no more players like that. There aren't. Look at the average.
Launch angle.
Yeah, exactly. Spin rate, exit velocity. It is literally, here's what it is. The average, we have what? People winning the batting title at 300, 310. Remember we used to be 360? There's Tony Gwynn would play really well at T-Mobile, right?
Here we go. Put me and you in the front office. We will find the college baseball players who hit doubles, who don't strike out, hit for average. Remember, Euclid started this trend with on-base percentage. We're going to start this trend for the Mariners, and we are just going to look for doubles hitters who don't strike out, get on base, and hit for a high average. Funnel them all to Seattle.
Hatterberg, wasn't Hatterberg the guy that you're talking you're talking Moneyball, right?
Yeah. But Euclid and Hatterberg did not have speed. Our guys are going to have speed too. They can steal bases. That's where we live in the margins. Yankees got the torpedo bats. Mariners got the doubles hitters.
Oh man, dude, that's a few. And then you hope the college kid just square it up, buddy. No, we need you down angle. No one's getting taught anywhere. Hit home runs. That's all it is.
We'll retrain them in the system.
You know what the Mariners need is just kind of the egress of some air conditioning thing to kind of create this, figurative stream inside the stadium so that we get some impact there.
Is there anywhere in the Seattle area where the weather is different and there's just a jet stream of wind? That's where they need to build the stadium.
Move the stadium there. You just move it a little down onto maybe even Golden Gardens down in Ballard. All right, let's get out of here. You got to go. I got to go. We got to go. All right, find us wherever you get your social media at BigBenKWin, at Instagram, Threads, TikTok. What are we on X? We're on X.
We're on X.
Also, wherever you get your podcast at BigBenKWin_, at Spotify, iTunes, Google Podcast, everything, wherever you get your podcast, YouTube, we're there too. Leave comments. You agree, disagree, like us, dislike us, whatever you want to say. We're not using torpedo bats here. Doubles only.
We're the doubles hitters in Seattle.
Doubles only.
Boom.
Boom.